Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe, and today we're going to be playing another budget deck. So with these budget decks, I'm trying to keep it to a combination of under 10 or up to 10 rares and mythics combined. Where possible, I will do cheaper, but a lot of times, because we're playing multicolor decks, some number of those lands go towards the dual lands. So this one was one that was requested by a user. It is a Dimir control deck, so Dimir being blue and black. So some of the restrictions that we do have in the budget build is getting some of the premium removal. So two of the rares we spent on the deck are going to Murderous Rider. Playing black instead of white for the control deck, you don't get cards like Prison Realm or the enchantments that can exile planeswalkers. And we're not a heavy density of creatures, so our deck's a little bit weak to actually deal with planeswalkers that resolve. So the whole point of this deck is to disrupt our opponent's hand and then interact with the board for stuff that gets through. And our main win conditions to close out the game are primarily Kefnet. I want to try out Ob Nixilis as an uncommon planeswalker, but it's pretty much Kefnet as our win con. It's a very resilient threat, so it's a good way for us to kind of combat our opponent. So these games are usually go a bit longer. By the nature of the deck, we want to grind out our opponent of resources and then take advantage. So going in the 2-drop slot, you're going to get a lot of useful gold cards. So Drown in the Loch is a new card that I want to try out. So basically, you can either destroy a creature with converted mana cost equal to the number of cards in their graveyard, or less. So if they have 4 cards, you can kill a 4-mana creature, whatever it may be. So it scales well to the late game. And then it can also counter target spells. This is kind of a flexible card. It's a new card. I haven't played with it yet, so I don't know if we want 1 copy, 2 copies, 4 copies, wherever it may be. So we'll play it, see how it goes with 2, and then cut it or add more as need be. Thought Erasure is a staple of the deck. Basically just take out whatever good cards are in their hand. Surveil works well with Disinformation Campaign as well. Tyrant Scorn is good versus any of the aggressive creatures. Even like Rotting Registars, even though it's 7/6, it still dies to this removal. We can also bounce some of the bigger creatures for tempo plays. 2 Murderous Riders, so this is 2 of the rares in the deck. It can target planeswalkers, which is useful, where none of our other removal can target planeswalkers. And then it's a body on its own, can gain some life, which could be kind of useful. And then if it dies from the battlefield, it just shuffles back into our library. 4 Narsets. Narset's a card advantage spell, and its static ability can disrupt some of the opponent's game plans. We're playing 3 Sinister Sabotage as counters. We're a little bit more on the tap-out control style plan, so I don't want to overload on counters, but I want to have a couple just in case we need to against like the non-creature based matchups. 1 Ob Nixilis is Cruelty. This is a concession to some of the bigger green creatures, as well as anything that either shuffles in or needs to be exiled from a graveyard. 2 Cry Carnariums. So we're running a board wipe package of 2 Cries and 2 Ritual of Soots, which is 2 of our other rares. We need to be able to wipe the board. Unfortunately, these are both conditional removals for smaller things, so if the opponent's playing a bunch of big green creatures, we're going to have a little bit harder time dealing with it in strict Dimir. Murder is basically just for budget constraints. This would just be replaced by Murderous Rider in most instances. We have 3 different Disinformation Campaigns. So this is a way we can disrupt our opponent's hand. We have a bunch of Surveil abilities, so we can put it back in and we can recycle that. Kefnet is our win con. It's a 4-mana 4/5 flyer that goes back into our library if it gets killed. And then its card advantage with its ability that we can duplicate spells. 2 Chemister's Insight for card advantage. We can also surveil it away, put it in our graveyard, and then cast it from there. Ob Nixilis is kind of a flex spot. So normally in these decks, you'd have something like Liliana, Dreadhorde General, or Ugin. For budget constraints, obviously in this one, I want to try out some of the uncommon planeswalkers. I've tried Davriel before, but oftentimes it deals like a couple points of damage or makes him discard a card, and that's it. This, worst case, comes down. It can destroy an opponent's creature. They do get to draw 2 cards. We can, in a pinch, target our own creature to draw some cards that way as well. And then its ability is whenever opponent draws a card, they lose some life, so can put some tax on them that way. And then 4 Discovery Dispersal, card draw, as well as the bounce effect can be useful against some of the bigger things. Mana base wise, islands, swamps, 4 Dismal Backwaters because we don't have the Scry lands, and 4 Watery Grave, which rounds up our 10 total non-common uncommons. Normally what you'd want in this deck is a couple of Blast Zones, the new castles, 2 Castle Vantress, and then 2 of the Black Castles for the card draw. Both would be really useful in this type of deck. Sideboard wise, actually isn't too bad because a lot of the good utility cards are at uncommon. The main notable is like I'd probably play an Elder Spell out of the side, maybe a Command the Dreadhorde. So we got some Duress versus Control, Essence Capture versus Creatures, Negate versus Control. We need more Control kind of matchup stuff, so we'll take out like a lot of the removal. We have some Noxious Grasps for the green creatures, and then 2 Ashioks versus any sort of like Reanimator, Phoenix style list. And then 2 Nightveil Predators. So usually in the sideboard of control decks, I like to bring in creatures to speed up the clock. So normally you'd play something like Thief of Sanity. We obviously don't have Thief of Sanity because of budget. So Nightveil Predator is basically 4 mana, 3/3, flying, death touch, hexproof. Can trade up for some of the bigger creatures, and worst case it can't be removed except for by a ward wipe. So this is kind of a way we can play around and speed up our clock a bit. I may want just some numbers in the main board, but we'll see how it is. So I'll play some ranked matches. We are Diamond 4. Season's done in like 2 days, so I don't really care. So let's do traditional, play ranked. This also lets us see what new decks are up. So as we get started, so I'm going to be putting out a couple budget decks while we build our collection here. You can catch all my replays on my YouTube channel if you miss anything on Twitch. And probably a lot of you are at pre-release today. If you are considering purchasing any physical cards from TCG Player, I do have an affiliate link in the video description on YouTube down below. If you click that link, do your purchase as normal. Just lets them know that I sent you and helps out the channel. If you don't purchase physical cards and are looking to support the channel for free, you can always just drop a sub on YouTube or a follow on Twitch. Both are free ways you can help out the channel, and they're greatly appreciated. So we've been seeing a lot of green-black based decks, a lot of Rotting Registrar, a lot of, forget the Mythic's name, the Spectacle. Okay, so this is a Golos Field deck, or Yark Field most likely, so not the worst. I think we just set up like this. Don't really want to use Tyrant Scorn here, but if they have like what's its name? So they'll take something. The Elemental dude, Risen Reef. Haven't played Magic in the day, and my name is falling. So we have 2 Cries and 2 Ritual of Soots. This does get closer, start turning on Drowned in Loch. They have Fable Passage there. So we probably go to Narset this turn. If they play Yark next turn, I'll probably just bounce at the subsequent. Okay, so because we are a control deck, we want to conserve our life total.
Just the trick for this.
We can take the Thought Erasure. That lets us double spell next turn, so we could bounce it and then take it away from hand if they have Yark. They are at 5 lands here. So do let me know as well if there's other budget decks you're interested in seeing. We've done 3 thus far. Someone else had requested Golos Field. Can probably do it. Oh, they got the Cavalier. Beanstalk Giant, some Murderous Riders. Okay, so what we can do here... Let's go with Narset first. Gotta get another Thought Erasure. So we just do this. How many cards do they have in their graveyard? Probably just Thought Erasure it. Okay. Kefnet can help us to start close out the game. They do have Murderous Rider, but that only allows them to kill it once. So now we're going to run into an issue where we do need to dig for... I can get rid of Murderous Rider too. Okay, so... let's just get rid of Rider. We need a Carnarium here. How many cards do they have? So destroy creature, converted mana cost equal. They have 8, so we can do that. So we didn't need to shock. So they draw a land, they play it, they get the trigger, so they get doubles. So we'll just kill this now. Mana wise, this is more efficient, so we'll do this. They'll kill Narset most likely. But next turn we can hold up Kefnet and drown in Loch.
Not prepared for this.
Okay. Cavalier is really good. We got Once Upon a Time. So we'll just pass the turn. I'm probably going to have to kill the Cavalier. They can put another Cavalier on top. They have 2. But it's more about slowing the game down a bit. So this is where not having like Time Wipe or the Realm Giant's going to be a bit of a troublesome because we can't have a clean board wipe. Gonna kill it. They do get the recycle effect. They have 36 cards. So like Ashiok will be good in this matchup. They won't be able to search off like Realm Clerk. Narset's not as good in this matchup usually. Noxious Grasp will be good out of the side. So we'll just block one of these. And they got the Scry. So they are throwing away creatures to attack. They did put a Cavalier on top, okay. So we'll decline the reveal. Let's see what we get. They can also draw a card here with Castle. That was awful. Straight garbage. So it doesn't make sense for us to attack here. We were hoping to get something a little bit more impactful. So this is a matchup where like losing Vraska's Contempt is actually pretty bad. Before we were able to hit the Cavaliers, now we're not. We lose that ability. So we'll eat one of these. It's another situation where Castle could be quite useful in the deck. Yeah. That naturally stops that. 30 cards. And they hit a second field. So we're really searching for that Carnarium. Just drawing these lines hasn't helped. Yeah, we can go campaign, doesn't really do much. So I'll call it quits here. So the out there would have been to attack, have Carnarium, try to get it in. So here Essence Capture is good, Ashiok's good, Noxious Grasp. probably want the Predators, to be honest. Ob Nixilis isn't going to do much. The campaigns... We can probably get rid of the campaigns. They're going to be hellbent most of the games. I like Ritual. We got 5 cards to cut. Cry's good. Sabotage is also good. Probably cut the Narsets, to be honest. This deck doesn't really draw cards, and we don't really want to be tapping out. Probably just get rid of a Discovery here. So I'll play with this. Sounds good. We can disrupt their early play, try to get rid of a Cavalier most likely. Another card you want in the sideboard of these decks is Unmoored Ego or Legion's End. That's a good way to have a catch-up mechanic. So let's see what the opponent's working with. Small creatures I'm not too concerned about because we have Ritual. Okay, they have double Ceratops, so we will have to get rid of one of these. We're good on lands. It's actually not a bad draw. We stop them on mana for the turn at least. And then hopefully scry into something useful. So Tyrant Scorn's not where we want to be. It doesn't deal with the Ceratops. So they'll drop Ceratops here. We can try racing it. Oh, they go Risen Reef. I guess they want it to come down with haste. Does get them ahead on mana. Just hang on to this. We can Essence capture something. We need Murderous Rider or Murder. There was a play where we try to counter this just to get the counter on it. Like, obviously wouldn't actually go through. Get that. Problem is, so normal instance Death Touch should be good, but because it's pro, we don't get that benefit. So that might be something to be mindful of post board. From the opponent's standpoint, they're likely not going to commit more to the board, so we might have to hit this Ritual. Oh, they do. Okay, so that ups the clock a bit. We're dead regardless to another Ceratops coming down. Okay, this is Ashiok. It's not really going to do much.
Beg. Which makes your life.
Actually, that was a pretty good flip of cards we got rid of, but probably a turn too slow. Like once upon a time, they'll find another creature. Yeah, so even this Ritual is not going to do much here. They'll get the trigger off both. One good thing is we can block the Cavalier at least. Hey Noada. Yeah, so this is a budget Dimir list, so not fully tuned. Hence the Nightveil Predators. Go Cavalier here. They're gonna get a lot of card advantage. The Assassin's Trophy as well. Oh, that's good, that's good, that's good. Yeah, there's a couple different ways you can take it. So we're just going to Ritual here. And then pass turn. So they'll attack with both. We block here. And then Noxious Grasp here. They do get to put the Cavalier. When this dies, they get to put Ceratops back on top. So we wanted to keep the Ashiok, but it buys us a turn. I got Yerk. We are forced into blocking. And at this point, I don't think there's anything in the deck that gets us back. A Murderous Rider, this, cast it. That's probably the only thing we have. Buys us another turn. Like, the play here is you just put Ceratops on top. It presents 2 lethal attackers. Yep. And they got that. That's the game. Alright, so lost that one. We'll run it back. So for those of you just tuning in, this is a budget deck, arena budget. So it has a combined 10 mythics and rares. The only 2 mythics really are God-Eternal Kefnet, it's our main win condition. Got a couple Murderous Riders, 2 Ritual Soots, and the dual lands as our other rares. The deck's looking to disrupt the opponent and then try to win through that route. I don't know if we probably need something just for the green matchups. I'm almost tempted with the Noxious Grasp just to main them. There's just been tons of green going around. But we'll run this through for one more, see how it goes. If there are any other budget decks you're interested in taking a look at, do let me know. So here, probably keep this hand. Like, we're really banking on a creature deck. This hand's a lot worse against a control deck. Thinking if probably do some sort of budget blue-white maybe. Okay, Epiphany could be a couple things. It could be Phoenix, it could be Elementals, both of which I'm actually pretty okay with. Don't quite know what we're playing against right now, but I do still think we're content with lines at this time, so we'll just get rid of these. Okay, Thought Erasure is not bad. Usually if this Elementals, you want to hit them for their... Well, we want to get rid of a Risen Reef. Okay, they go Opt, so this is... Ooh, if we get a Narset down against... if this is like the Improbable Alliance deck, Narset's going to be a hard time for them to deal with. I want to take the spell in their hands. Yeah, so the Royal Scion deck. So they have the Shock. I think... Just get rid of that. Cavalier Gales is pretty good card overall. Wouldn't be against playing that in this type of build. I think in my older version it was 2 Kefnets, 3 Cavaliers. So keeping up the Ionize. So we're just going to play a Chemister's Insight. They'll play the Drake, and then we could try to find an answer for the Drake. They're one card in the graveyard anyways. Okay, so they go this route, so they're going to hold up the Ionize, so I'm going to force it out of them. Okay, so they let that go. I can go Backwater here. And just pass the turn. We could just Chemisters away probably a Ritual of Soot. And again, this is a matchup where not being able to deal with like the Drake is a little problematic. Oh. Oh, that's actually pretty good, because what we can do now, we can set up Narset. We can bounce this.
I train every day. No one is more prepared than me with thoughtfulness before action.
I wanted the Cavalier. So I could get rid of the Ionize. So they could shock and then do that. Where Tyrant Scorn buys us a turn at least. And I'm doing this now because they have the Ionize, so I don't want them to be able to counter it. So they can shock here. This coming down won't draw the card. And then I'm just going to keep Narset. So there was a play to just keep this at 5 loyalty, which we could have. But I have the Ob Nixilis for next turn, so they likely... Interesting, they don't shock either. Because these two cards actually work really well together, because they don't get the card draw. Okay, they go shock.
Focused.
See if they go Drake here. So they did miss that line last turn. They could have... Okay, so they're holding up Ionize. So they can... So they probably Ionize this, which is fine, because now we Thought Erasure. This allows us to hit a specific card that we want. Okay, so they have the Negate as well. This is all fine in a sense because they're spending... Yeah, read the card. So they get the Scry, draw none. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So we're one short. So we just passed turn. I wanted to try to get the Sabotage down ideally because we could have then bounced it back with the campaign. Or not the Sabotage, the Disinformation Campaign. So I want to keep this as insurance. So we'll just do this now. If they have a counter, we have the Sabotage. Because this will start putting some damage on them. That's fine. That'll get them their card draw for the turn. And I can't imagine they're playing too many overall counters in this deck. Okay, so now we're in a good spot. Counter anything crazy. Ob Nixilis can deal with the creatures. And now this is basically 2 removal spells for 2 of their creatures. What we want to keep off the board is something like the Royal Scions, because they can deal damage to us. That's fine. Even if we get something like a second Ritual or Carnarium, we can just exile that way. So we'll just destroy here.
One can learn much from them.
Oh, so they still get to draw one card. I forgot Ob Nixilis lets them do that.
Suffer the dreams
So,
of the
not pure value. Got him on a 20 turn clock. We really want to see a Kefnet here.
I am your inner.
Even something like Enter the God-Eternal will be good. Oh, that's actually really good for us. Let's do this. Let's dig for something else here. That's fine. At this point, we just want to deal threat, because them drawing a card with Op deals them a damage.
Try not to think too hard.
If
Keep
you
the
wish
new
to sell
one.
them now, I understand. Keep an open mind.
Sure. And then we'll just pass the turn. So we're on the slow plan. We need to dig for our Kefnet. We did bring one to the bottom, so we're looking for a second one here.
Knowledge is not without price.
And this is like matches where I think we're gonna, they have a lot of cards in their graveyard anyways. Let's go Sabotage here. I want to be able to set up my draw. I don't want any more lions. Okay, so we got Discovery Dispersal. So let's go Narset here.
Meditate and prepare.
So let's see what's going on in our opponent's hand. Probable Alliance, so they can't draw their second card each turn. The Lava Coil doesn't do much. So Lava Coil's removal. So we'll just get rid of this. I don't think we want the Tyrant Scorn. So let's just dig. I want to try to find Kefnet to close things out. Let's keep that. Those are both good, actually. Murderous Rider's a clock for us for the following turn. And then it's the removal we need. So let's just pass the turn. We can counter whatever they come down with. So this interaction is actually really funny because it perfectly kind of neuters this deck. That's fine. Even if they get an opening and they create a couple, I'm okay because we have these to catch up. And if they loot, they just start taking some damage.
Suffer the dreams of the damned.
So, as a control player, this is exactly where you want to be, where you're controlling the mandate and the pace of the game. This hopefully finds us Kefnet. Tyrant Scorn could go away. Thought Erasure will keep. So they're negating. That's fine. I kind of don't want to play the Narset because we've gone through a good chunk of our deck, so there's 24 cards left. We should be finding a Kefnet soon to close this game out really quick.
I am your inner.
And I just want to keep this as insurance as guaranteed removal. There we go. So this should close out the game. I could really get him and just drown in the Loch, but that's fine. Our new game, yeah, so we got him. So we assembled the Narset Ob Nixilis Loch. So in this matchup, the Predators are actually pretty good. Probably want some negates. The rituals could probably go. I'll keep the cries because they're good insurance. 2 cards to cut. Do we want Duress? Probably on the play. We want. Hey, Five Fingers, thanks for the raid. Cruelty is also a good exile spell. I feel we can get rid of the campaigns. They're not going to be as useful in this matchup. Disrupt their hand, counter their stuff. We gotta think quick. Probably just get rid of some dispersals. How's it going? We are playing a budget Dimir control deck. We got combined 10 mythics and rares. How's chat doing? Anybody go to pre-release? It's disappointed. My the guy I usually go with couldn't go today, and then all the stores around me sold out of booster boxes. Was gonna get one to crack on stream. So this hand is just awesome to screw up there. So what I want to do here is try to hit Improbable Alliance, Thought Erasure, Scions. Yeah, so we're going to take the Negate. And I'm going to get rid of the Ob Nixilis, because that terrifies me. Morning, Lullaby Miss. It is afternoon for me. I am Eastern time. Not too sure where you're tuning in from, but thanks for stopping by. We're good for Lions. Okay, so we are fine with that. Central US. Cool, cool. We can take 3, but probably just kill it now. Yeah, so we got this one, then I'm just gonna take the dog out, and then we'll come back probably. I gotta figure out, we've done 3 budgets, but there's probably gonna be some other. Do they have any instance? They have 1. It's just Murderous Rider. I gotta figure out what deck I want to play later today. I haven't really been playing too many, like, tiered competitive lists right now. I've been trying to get all the budget ones out of the way. It's just good. Like, a lot of people, even myself, I've opened close to 100 packs of the new set. Still don't, like, I have 1 Oko, and all the lists look like they want multiple Okos. So we'll play probably Golos, budget Golos Gates. We can do that. There's Mono Black. You can see you can do some budget Mono Black lists. That's actually been my favorite. What have you folks been playing so far in the new set? Like Mono Black Ayara, the cat in the Witch's Oven has been my favorite deck to play so far. It's what I've been playing the most off stream. So the opponent's been drawing a lot of cards, but hasn't really been doing much. We have both a counter and a removal spell. This Beacon Bolt has got 2 instants in the graveyard, but if they Chemisters, they don't get much utility. If they're just cycling drawing cards, I'm not too worried. We want to prevent them from getting something like Niv. If they got that down, would have been problematic. The Royal Scions is continuous card draw. Yeah, that deck's sweet. Is it the same list as Mogwais, the Grixis one? So they'll probably kill Murderous Rider here. So it's actually pretty good. They don't get the... I just need 3 of the fires and I got the rest of the list. I want to try that one out. There's also like one I was trying, like a Jund one. And then I might try like a Temur variant as well. So let's see what we can Dispersal for. Yo. Do I just take Narset into Narset? And then just laugh maniacally? Yeah. Narset's just so good in this matchup. I would love to play this Narset. So I'm going to hold off on the land in case we get like a Negate or some sort of Thought Erasure. Like this. And then we hold up that. And then we tell them GG. They got 5 cards, so the only thing they can get down against us is Ob Nixilis. Or sorry, is Nicobolas. What am I saying? Niv Mizzet. One of these cards is going to work eventually. So this shuts off this insight of theirs. Yeah, the dog's pissed. Probably. Yeah, we let it resolve.
This is overwhelming.
Because the thing is, they kill this Murderous Rider then.
Own your prowess.
Then we just take this from their hand. So it's probably the same regardless, so I'm just going to hold this. My dog was up all night vomiting. She ate some dirt or something. And now she has tons of energy while my wife and I had to sleep on the couch with my dog. It was the only way for her to go to sleep last night. But she was up all night and surprised. So we're going to do this. They can jumpstart it back, but then they got to discard whatever cards in their hand, and it takes up all their mana for the turn. Okay, they got Crackles. So this is the part of the game where they're not going to trade here. So we might as well gain the life. So we want to hit some form of removal. Ob Nixilis would actually be pretty sweet right now. All this incidental life gain we've gotten as well has been pretty good. Another Murderous Rider would be good. So this is where like Murderous Rider over Murder is just so much better. So we still have the Murder. We still have the Murderous Rider. Okay, Insight's pretty good. Insight's good because even if they counter the first... Oh, Kefnet's sweet. Okay, they opt. I think we take the damage this turn. Or to be honest, I probably just block. Oh, they got the stroke. Damn it. That was a perfect opt. Sorry, just let me open the door for the dog. What? So I'm gonna Insight first. Then we'll Thought Erasure, see what we need. So Thought Erasure might have made sense to push away the land. But they got... So they can... So they need to decide. They can Insight here and bin it. But then we get to look at 2 cards. So they Fry. Jeez. So it didn't matter which order we did because all we drew was lands. Yeah, Kefnet, like, the castles are great. The black one, like, I've been playing 3 to 4 of in my mono black deck. It just gets you, like, crazy card advantage. Alright, well, there goes that one. So we're going to a game. So probably, so they're bringing in more counters. So Negate's probably good. Actually, probably cut down the Negate. We want the Discoveries. This card draw. These are still good. We probably want to get, we can get rid of the Cries. They're not going to be as useful. Now the question is, do we want the campaigns instead of the Duress? Duress could screw up some of their counterplay. But it looks like they got rid of the Royal Scions and everything. So we'll probably bring in the campaigns. Like we lost last game because we just couldn't get enough card advantage. You happy now, dog? We got a bigger desk, and now she just sits like right under the desk. So I'll keep this hand. We got the first Negate up if need be. And if we could drop campaign down, it's good value. We also have a removal spell for something like Ob Nixilis. I would like a Thought Erasure on 2 if possible. Just being the greedy Dimir player. Has anyone played with Oko yet? Everyone that I'm hearing is saying the card's ridiculous. Sabotage is pretty good. Okay, so they brought the alliances back in. They might have had it last game, but... Okay, let's get campaign going. Okay, that's actually good. Get rid of the opt. We got 2 cards in the library. I'm fine with them doing the opt here because it makes the drown in the Loch better. And we want to deal with threats. So the Surveil here will pick up Disinformation Campaign. So we could do that, get the campaign, drop it down. Or I just Cruelty this, but I'd rather not give him the card draw. I want to run him out of cards. Watery Grave's good, because I can play this and hold up Drown in the Loch. There are 4 cards in their library. It'll be 5, so one sec. Let me play this first, in case we draw an untapped land. Okay, Tyrant Scorn as well. Ooh, getting rid of Ral's good. So here we're not in a rush. Let's make them make the move. 5 cards. Okay, so we got Narset with protection. Negate here. If they're going to use another counter spell, that's fine. We just want to try to grind them out of resources. So I could Pyromancer here. So we need to counter the Ionize. And then if Kefnet comes down, we're in a really good spot. Adrenal Loch's been really good. I think we go up a couple numbers of them. So we'll decline the reveal here. So we can do this. But I actually just like killing this now. And then we'll just hold up the Cruelty. Cruelty could deal with Niv-Mizzet. Yeah, so we're going to reveal this. We get to cast the Discovery part for 1 mana. We will keep both of these, but the question is the order we keep them in. Okay, so we'll put the... I kind of want both. Let's do this. Because then this gets campaign back. So let's force cards out of their hand. We just set up for next turn. Let's just do this. I'm actually... We'll keep the land and get rid of the campaign. We only really need 1. We tore apart their hand. Gains us a life, and then we're good. So we're in a pretty good spot. Once you can get a cycle a campaign. Okay, so Scion, what do? You loot at this point.
I will learn what nobody yet knows.
We'll decline that. So let's go campaign. Get them to get rid of whatever's in their hand. Gets rid of a stroke. Now, the question is, do we care enough about this with not...
I have practiced against men.
Cool. Got him. Alright, so that's about just under an hour of the deck. I usually try to demo about an hour's worth. So I'm going to wrap this one up for this particular build, but we'll play one fun of... let's play my Menagerie deck. So this is the mono black deck I was playing a lot of. So I've still been trying to fine tune. It is going to be basically playing kind of a combo of Cauldron Familiar with Witch's Oven. You could sack the Familiar to the Witch's Oven. It gets a food token. You get the Cauldron Familiar back for the graveyard for free. So you can kind of loop it like that. And you're playing it with an Ayara out, so it drains the opponent again. You have Dreadhorde Invasion to pair with Ayara, so every turn you can gain a life. Drain him for 1. You lose a life from this, but then you get to sack that creature to a token, get a new token, draw a card, kind of loop from there. The rest of the deck's kind of Aristocrats themed, where you have like Priests, you have the Lastoph Reavers, Midnight Reapers draw cards, and then it's a lower curve, so then you have Gruesome Menagerie to get back a bunch of cheap creatures. So there's like combo turns where you can do like Cauldron Familiar, Lastoph Reaver, Ayara. You drain your opponent for 5 in total, and you gain 5 life, and then you get all your creatures back. So it's kind of a cool combo-y deck. I've been playing this one a lot, so I'm still trying to fine-tune it, but we could run it for 1 match, and then we'll figure out what budget deck we want to do afterwards. Usually try to get up like as many budgets the first week or two, and then once the meta settles, then I'll start doing more of the build series, where we'll take like, say, Oko, like Simic Oko becomes the top tier deck. We'll play around that. So probably 1 too many lands in this hand, but I'm usually inclined to keep either hands with Ayara or with the Cat Oven combo. We also have a castle in this hand, which makes it a lot better. So they get a point of damage in. So this could be some sort of Rakdos deck. I go Priest here, mana efficiency wise, because we're going to go Yara there. If they have a removal spell, I want them to blow it on the Priest, so I could keep a Yara. Yeah. So they keep it back, which is interesting. Here I'm fine to attack in. We want to put pressure on them. And for us, this just comes back, so it's free value. We get a Yara. And even if they kill this later, so like the cool thing is you can cast the Gutter Bones, it drains them, you can sack it to draw a card, and then get it back to your hand, all in kind of the same turn. So they might have a shock here. Gonna go Heartfire. Okay, so oh, I love, like, this deck's just been so much fun to play. Like, all the time I've spent offline, like, you can see all my other decks are basically, like, unfinished decks and ideas other than the budget ones we played on stream. So I can Murderous Rider this. We're gonna Murderous Rider this. And I'll attack in with both. It's a free block for them here, but it means we get to poke them for 2 damage. And then getting down the Murderous Rider for lifelink will help in this kind of matchup. So they can draw a card, but the life loss is going to start being relevant. We just didn't want them to keep the Stormfist Crusader out. I am tempted though, Pickles, to splash a little bit of red for Dreadhorde Butcher in the deck. I feel just like that reach, and even oh, it's pretty good. We get to light up the stage. Okay, so that's good for us. We get to double spell here. So I can pump, that goes to 4-6 damage, which is probably the play. And then we drop down Priest. That gets bigger. Play out the Priest. So they kind of have to attack with both in. I will take the free block on the Torch Courier if they want to hit the light up the stage value. Ooh, that's interesting. Claim the Firstborn. It's actually pretty good. Like, if you're playing a Heartfire deck, you can sack. So they'll get a pump here. I'll block the Torch Courier. They'll get a pump. There's no sense. Oh, they can sack it to Priest after. Get the value there. So we're just gonna take it. They're gonna sack it to our Priest. Hold up. I posted the Gruul one that won. Let me pull up the list. I saw them quickly, but so here we go. Go Gutter Bones most likely. Where are you? First tourney. Okay, they got the Dreadhorde Butcher. 12th place. So you got Incubation, Paradise, Round Register, Questing Beast, Sas Trophy, Once Upon a Time. Looks sweet, but I would play the Great Henge. That version of the deck seemed a lot better. Okay, so we win now. Check out Jeff Hooglin played a green-black Great Henge deck. That one looked really good. That was kind of the idea I was thinking. So you got Questing Beast, Riding Regisar. This one's got more removal. I probably wouldn't play the Death Sprouts. I like just Assassin's Trophies, stuff like that. Yeah, if you want to play green-black, play whatever deck Reed Duke is playing. He's like the green-black aficionado. Because this is one that I was trying out. I haven't played it yet, but kind of it's like a Abzan control list, so similar idea. So you're playing Garruk at the top end. So some Knights to kind of work with Murderous Rider, Cavalier, and Tolsmir. So you got the Tolsmir Garruk pairing. So you create the wolves, they fight. You gain life. Bunch of removal. Knight of Autumn is just catch-all removal. And then you got like Glass Casket for early aggro, Bonds of Flourishing for life gain, and card advantage. So you don't have traditional draw, so Bonds kind of works in this sense. Assassin's Trophy, Sorin, some Kaya's Wrath. Vraska's really good right now in the format, especially with Oko. The Jeff Hooglin one, I'll link it to you after this. So I'm going to wrap up this stream. Thanks for everyone tuning in. So I'll come back with this Abzan deck once I tweak it a bit, and a couple more budget decks. Appreciate the raid from Five Fingers. If you do have any suggestions for other budget decks, do let me know either in YouTube or just you can follow me on Twitter, anything like that. And to see you next time. Thanks, Space. Thanks for showing up. We are just wrapping things up, unfortunately, but if you want to catch this video for the Dimir deck and the bit of the black mono black deck at the end, I'll have it up on YouTube tomorrow morning. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and have a great weekend. Good luck at pre-release if you still haven't gone. Have a good one. Ciao.